This entire window has been blown completely off, the sash and everything, multiple screens out, and then follow me right over here, and we've got actually an entire house right here that has been reduced to just smoldering rubble. It's all the pictures and videos without all of this boring writing to scroll down through. You can see just how bent up this gate is as they rammed into it, trying to get back out onto the road. For the second time in 5 years, Fort Hood here in the national and international spotlight, and unfortunately for the second time in 5 years, it's for an absolutely terrible tragedy. Let me show you just the kind of attention that the story is already getting. The storage units do have security cameras, in fact, 8 of them. The problem is they don't cover the backside of the building. Now, a lot of families find it difficult to juggle the demands of a full schedule with trying to find time to eat better. Very few details actually coming out right now, still very early on in this investigation into what happened. You can kind of see behind me, there's still a lot going on back here, some flashing lights, EMS vehicles, and just a lot of people standing around asking the same kinds of questions we're asking. What exactly happened here? What we do know is that the initial call came in for a man with a gun around just before 5:15, and the city's only full-time police officer, the police chief, did respond to that. I'm joined now by Donnie Adams with the Bell County Sheriff's Department for a little bit more. Quite a bit of damage here in the Hobby Lobby parking lot at Richland and Bosque in Waco. Really, this whole shopping center has seen quite a bit of damage. You can see the power is still out to all of these shops around here. Has been since about 7 when this storm rolled through. Let me show you some of the other interesting damage here. These huge tree limbs, a few of these throughout the parking lot. The interesting thing about this one here is that there isn't a tree nearby. The closest one is probably about 75 feet away. So definitely some very strong winds that came through here. Another indication of that, you can see the Hobby Lobby roof up here has been blown off. It was actually blown sort of at the apartment complex that's behind there. The entire front edge of the roof there, the bricks have been blown off, some of them laying up there on the sidewalk. Let me also show you here in the parking lot. This here is auto glass, it looks like. This is right here near this branch. A number of cars have seen this kind of damage, windows blown out either by hail or some of the strong winds coming through. Now, employees here at the Hobby Lobby told me that when the storm came through, it sounded like they were in a movie. One of them even said it sounded like the movie Twister. Right now, people are in there cleaning up.
On the inside, there's broken glass everywhere. There's water dripping from the ceilings everywhere. There's puddles. A lot of merchandise getting messed up, and it's really crazy. We opened the apartment door because the first thing we heard hail. First thing I thought was, oh my God, my car. So we opened the door to go out, and you couldn't even see anything. It looked like something was swirling in the middle of the complex and stuff was flying everywhere. So.
We've walked through the parking lot a little bit further now, up closer to the Hobby Lobby, so we can show you a little bit more of the damage that they're seeing up here. If you look right over here, that used to be a glass door. It's completely blown out. It is now an open window. People inside, workers, are cleaning up right now, trying to get this place back to normal, mopping up some of the water that's been coming down through the roof. And like I said, that wind damage blew off significant portions of the roof here at the Hobby Lobby. If you need a little bit more proof, here's some bricks from the building laying right here on the sidewalk. Very strong winds blew through here around 7 o'clock tonight. A lot of rain, a lot of lightning, and power is actually still out to this entire shopping center, and we've been told to a lot of the neighborhoods around here as well. In Waco, Chris Davis, KCEN HD News.
A long line of cars covers both sides of McLaughlin Road.
Everybody's doing what they can do.
They're not cop cars.
Just help each other out.
But they, too, responded to the call.
I mean, if my daughter was out here or if I was out here, I'd hope that somebody would come out and be trying to help in whatever way.
They're volunteers like Dean England and his 2 kids. On horseback and 4-wheelers, they search around Lake Waco for any signs of 24-year-old Brittany Stevenson. The car she was in drove through a barrier and into the water last night. The other person in the car escaped. She told investigators she never saw Stevenson do the same. Now, search crews pulled the car from the lake at around 8 this morning, and that's when the real search started. Now animal and human team up to comb the terrain.
It's wet, there's a lot of thorn bushes, there's a lot of trees zigzagging in and out.
To look for any sign she made it out of the water.
It's a good thing the horses are here because there's a lot of pipe that we have to go over, a lot of stumps that we can go over where otherwise 4-wheelers can't get into.
The search crews pack up as the sun sets and Waco police set up barricades. They'll camp here overnight. before getting back in the saddle alongside the impromptu search party.
As long as we're an asset and as long as we stay warm and are able to help and not hinder, then we'll stay.
It may be cold, but the constant rain can't dampen the hope they're keeping alive. In Waco, Chris Davis, KCEN HD News. The pictures are stunning.
Front row seat.
We got front row seats.
The circumstances, devastating.
I would hate for it to be in my house.
The solution, one of a kind.
This is actually a first for me.
For Paul Sauer,
it went quick.
The potential risk of more of the bluff falling in was worth it.
You had all the Corps guys out here looking after everybody, doing a great job.
A $700,000 luxury home sliding slowly off of a collapsing cliff into Lake Whitney. More than 24 boats turn out to watch as it burns and to snap a few photos.
You feel for the family, but it sure is interesting to come out and watch one burn.
After nearly 2 hours of delays,
Our department is not going to start it until we get boats further out.
Smoke starts to trickle out just before noon.
Man, nice big house gone to waste, but I'm glad nobody was in the house, you know.
Just about half an hour after we first started seeing smoke coming out of the roof, it's pretty well engulfed at this point, and even the debris pile down below it next to the lake is on fire too.
I wouldn't be able to watch it. I'd be devastated.
Yeah, if it was my own house, I couldn't have watched it.
A dream house crumbling into the lake it overlooks.
That was kind of a fluke thing, I think. Just one of the risks living so close to the lake, I guess.
The risk of soft limestone bluffs falling away and taking a home with it. Chris Davis, KCEN HD News. 34 rows of boots.
That is a big boot.
Each one flying its own flag, and each one
just
with a name.
Just so much loss.
And a picture.
No, I feel for the families.
Alan Scarlett, a veteran himself, is here to pay his respects.
You hear about it, and then when you see it, you just don't. Then you put it together, just like, wow.
It's hard to put into words.
You look down, you see the wife and the children, and, you know, their daddy is gone, or their mommy's gone.
7,000 boots, each with its own story.
This is all his battle buddies.
It's an idea Teresa Johnson brought back from Hawaii.
So there we go.
Her way.
That's James Patton.
To remember every sacrifice, one she hopes her kids won't have to make.
His first deployment was 2012 when I started it. And I always thought, you know, could be me. Never say it can't be, because it can be.
It's the first year Johnson has put boots out at Fort Hood. Volunteers set it up here over the weekend.
And yesterday, to honor the 5-year anniversary of the attacks here on post, Teresa came out and added balloons to the boots of all of those victims.
She plans to bring the memorial back every year, and not just to honor those who served.
It brings tears to my eyes.
But as a sobering reminder.
It's a person who lived and breathed and had a family, and people who loved them.
People.
This is it.
Who will always remember them.
This is what our men and women of our armed forces do.
And the sacrifice they made. Chris Davis, KCEN HD News.
We saw the house was picked up, you know, and set back down, and the siding was blowed off of it, and the windows were blown in.
A week later, Mark Jackson and his family were allowed back into their neighborhood. Inspectors told him their home of 12 years was a total loss.
You know, you've worked hard all these years to provide a home for your wife and your kids, and it's taken away from you in an instant. It's been a long year, been stressful, I ain't gonna lie about that. But, you know, each morning you just get up and thank God for another day that you got.
333 days after the blast, the Jacksons started moving into a new house on the same property.
There ain't no place like home, man.
And it's a better home. Mark has limited mobility. Built in 1927, the house he lost didn't give him the space he needs. Now there's more room, wider doors, a shower built just for him. He says it's the little things.
Probably living in our dream home, me and my wife are.
It gets me emotional, because, God.
Wayne Larson is the man behind the home. The Jacksons didn't have the means to rebuild on their own.
Wayne and his wife, God sent them, that's all I can say.
Mr. and Mrs. Larson volunteered their time, asked contractors to do the same, got materials donated.
We were able to give him this house for a cost. So to hear his expression It's very humbling. And I wish I could do it for everybody over here.
The streets of West are filled with the sounds of rebuilding. Some, like this group, are doing what the Larsons did.
All of this carpentry has been done by volunteers, and the plumbing and the electrical and the air conditioning.
This home on Reagan Street was also underinsured.
But this house was just about leveled. And there was nothing left except the foundation when we got started on it.
So this handyman group from a church in Whitney took the reins. But there's still plenty of work to be done in West. New construction is giving the city a bit of a facelift, but next to the homes that have already been completed, some right in the middle of construction with the walls going up right now, some just now getting to the point where they can start building, and all of it happening in the same neighborhood. 130 homes were destroyed in the explosion. In the year since, 24 have been completely rebuilt, and dozens more are in the process.
We've talked to some other people about building, but they've decided not to, and they've moved on.
That means there's space for a new wave of West residents. Mayor Mushka is even hopeful the city will attract developers for new subdivisions. It's a brighter looking future for a town that's seen so much darkness.
I don't see nothing but good. We're going to be better. The whole town will be.
Building new hope, one new home at a time.
Say we happy. We happy to be home.
Chris Davis, KCEN HD News. A challenge.
Whenever you're cold.
Think.
It's just nice.
A warm thought.
We have time?
On a brisk day.
I'm from New York. It's not that cold.
It can be.
Is it warming you up? Is it working?
All you need.
I'm not cold anymore, yeah.
We might not get much.
I enjoy the cold up until just about now.
But cold is cold.
It always reminds me of fall and winter, sitting by the fire and drinking something that tastes like fall apples.
Everyone has his own.
Memories and good times and all that, and just happy stuff.
Or her own.
This is my favorite sweater.
Insulating idea.
And it just makes me think of hanging out with sheep and some lavender moor and heathers and lots of pretty things and happy things.
Physical.
I got a cappuccino. It's really good.
Or
how's that look?
A little more abstract.
She drove in from Houston. I drove in from Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah, chilly day. Warm company, huh?
With temperatures dipping with the sun.
That's kind of a not warm thing.
It's the thought.
I'm breaking your chalk over here.
That counts. With photojournalist Brian Wenland.
If it's going to be cold, I'd rather it snow.
Chris Davis, KCEN HD News.